Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to the third episode of Rock slash Metal in Review. I named the show depending on what the album is. I feel like this one's leaning more a little towards rock, but yeah. Anyways, like you saw in the title, we're talking about the new Beartooth album, The Surface. It just came out yesterday. As I'm recording this on the 14th of October. It just came out this past Friday, the 13th, and it's their fifth album. Um, their first since Below in 2021, and yeah, I'm pulling up the track list so that way, whenever I'm talking about specific songs, you know which ones I'm talking about. So let's start off with the pros, the things that I like about this album, the things that I enjoy about it. The songs are super catchy. That's one thing about me that I like about music is I really appreciate catchiness and like hooks and melodies and things like that, things that I could like latch onto and get stuck in my head. And this album is full of that. Um, Basically every song has at least like one memorable moment that I can think of and be like, oh yeah, this is a cool part. Another pro is that lyrically, this album is much more positive than the last album Below. So basically, the band's frontman, Caleb Shomo, who writes all the music and everything for the most part, he's pretty transparent about his life and the things that he's gone through. And Below was kind of like the worst of the worst when it comes to like mental health issues and things like that. And The Surface is pretty much like his glow up and him like becoming a better person and becoming more mentally healthy. And that is something I appreciate because I don't think a lot of bands really talk about like positivity. I mean, sure, maybe some bands like the hardcore scene and stuff like that, but like a mainstream like hard rock band or metalcore band talking about stuff like this, it's really nice to see, especially since a lot of metal is very, very negative. I mean, look at the latest Stained album, the album that I reviewed as the first episode. That album has some pretty depressing lyrics for the most part. But another pro I like has to do with the way the guitars sound. So it's kind of become a trend in the past few years for metalcore bands to do this like pitch shifted kind of style, mostly for breakdowns. But Beartooth also does it for their riffs. I believe they use drop C sharp tuning for the whole album on six strings, and then they kind of just pitch shift an octave down depending on what moment it is in the song. Or they'll do it for like a breakdown, or they'll do it for a particular riff, But it sounds nice. I like the way that it sounds. Some of you might know what I'm talking about when I say this, but I have a Digitech drop pedal, and whenever I have it set to the octave down plus the dry signal, that's kind of the same tone as that I get that this album has. So I don't know if they're using that pedal, if they're using the whammy pedal. I don't know, but it's nice. I like it a lot. I like the way that Beartooth utilizes it on this album, and it's not just like, oh, to make super heavy, filthy breakdowns. It's like an actual like nice way to enhance the heaviness without like making it seem overbearing. And so, what are some things that I don't like? Well, I wouldn't say these are really cons, but they're just more things to kind of keep in mind when listening to this album for the first time or the first few times. Is that this album does have a bit more like poppy, a little bit more cleaner production. There's definitely a lot more pop influence on this album than on previous albums, which I don't personally have a problem with. I think it's cool. There's plenty of great pop music out there. I'm not gonna be. I'm not just like this hard metal guy that like, oh, I can't take anything that sounds lighter than like fucking Cannibal Corpse or something like that. Nah, fuck that. But it is something to keep in mind if you're expecting an album like aggressive or disgusting or even below or disease, basically any of the previous Beartooth albums. Um, you're not really gonna find that here. Maybe a couple songs like I don't know, like "Doubt Me" or "The Surface" or maybe "What's Killing You," "Sunshine" probably, but I mean definitely not songs like "The Better Me," which features Hardy, who's like a country rock singer who's written for bigger country artists than him. Um, it's just something to keep in mind, like I keep saying. But anyways, and yeah, this is a very drastic shift in sound from the previous album Below and really the previous Beartooth albums. So yeah, I'm gonna stop before I continue to keep rambling. As far as a score, I'd probably give this like a 7 out of 10. I like it. I might have to listen to it a few more times to really like have it grow on me. But yeah, this will probably be in my albums of the year contender. And that's really all I have to say about this one. See ya. Also, I didn't record any gameplay for this one. I feel like these kinds of videos flow better. So if you enjoyed this, please like it, comment on it if you want to, what your thoughts and feelings are on the album. Um, yeah, do all that fun stuff if you'd like. You don't have to, of course, but I would appreciate it. All right, bye.